What's going on? It's True Boxing, and I guess I'm gonna just do a part two to my then versus now. Watch D-Style video. Actually, watch the video that started this all, which is Outside the Ropes. Not to say started no shit, but just sparked the conversation. You get what I'm going. His video about cab drivers. I want to touch on cab drivers. The term cab drivers given to a fighter who's not specifically a fighter who fights for a profession as a fighter. They fight part-time. But it's also given, to literally cab drivers. When I see a fighter with a record like 20 bouts, 18 losses, and 2 wins, that tells me that you're more than likely a fighter that a promoter uses to get their main fighter or fighter of interest a win under their belt to essentially pad a record. It's like, oh, I got this kid, he's 7. I see it I've seen it. I won't say I'm currently seeing it, but I've seen it happen. I got a couple friends that are professional fighters, and I've seen it with local promoters. It's like, oh, I got this kid. He's 17. He wants to turn pro for his first pro fight. I'm gonna have him fight. I know somebody. I'll get somebody out here. Okay, I can get this dude, $600, and you're a fighter. He don't care. He just wants the $600. It's only 4 rounds. Okay. And so he fights, and that's essentially what happens. The whole comparisons, like, again, I've seen people compare the money, what is unheard of, outside of ropes, something I noticed you didn't factor in was, even though Ali made $5 million, which is unheard of to fight, I believe, Foreman. That was a lot of money, and you said would Floyd fight for that, he would be getting. You got to realize, you got to think of inflation. What would $5 million be worth now if you were to convert that money? It might be $20 million. Same goes with Robinson. What would Robinson's money be worth? What he was making his purses then versus now. See, Robinson seemed to me, just doing my own personal research. And, watching a documentary and just find all the information I can on Sugar Ray Robinson. To me, I see a lot of similarities with Floyd Mayweather. He was an arrogant asshole. He was he flashed and flaunted his money. See any coincidence? He was notoriously hard to negotiate with. In fact, to me, it seemed like he was even harder to negotiate with than Floyd Mayweather, because he was known to pull out a fight the day of the fight. And not just the day of the fight, but actually, like, showing up in the dressing room, he decides, I'm just not fighting. Because, after all the contracts are signed and sealed and everything, he was known for doing that. What else? He was, he would fight the fights that yielded the most money. That's sound familiar? You see what I'm saying? He wouldn't necessarily pick this fighter I can make the most money fighting. Sound familiar? I think it's not fair to compare his 200 fights to Floyd's, because I honestly believe in my heart that Sugar Ray Robinson would not have 200 fights right now. He just wouldn't. He wouldn't fight 200 times. If him out of his own mouth admission saying, I only fight for money, and I fight the fights that yield the most money. Back then, if he had to fight 10 times in 1 month to make $70,000, that's what he did. You see what I'm saying? Because money, it's a whole different ball game. The sport was smaller. There weren't as much advertisement. There wasn't as many sponsors endorsing the sport. It wasn't a big mainstream. When things go mainstream, that's with anything. Music, period. Hip hop, prime example. You see what I'm saying? When things go mainstream, things change. And that's the reality. I call it a poor man's perspective. People say, how can Floyd ask for $50 million? That's why come you can't do it for 30? Well, you've never made $30 million. See, we're in 2 different ballparks. See, Me personally, I can't fathom turning down a fight for shit, for 200,000 because I don't make $200,000. But Floyd Mayweather or a fighter of that caliber looks at that and says, 200,000, fuck no, no fight, because they make millions. See, the whole point of comparing eras, people compare eras and say, oh, well, just my personal opinion by watching, Sugar Ray Robertson. I feel like Sugar Ray Robertson fights like Shane Mosley. I always used to wonder, why did they call Sugar Shane Mosley Sugar? Because he's not sweet. He doesn't slip punches good. He doesn't block punches. He doesn't evade them. He doesn't duck. He doesn't catch shots. He doesn't counter. He doesn't move. He never did anything slick. And after watching the little footage that we do have of Sugar Ray Robinson, I see why they call him Sugar. Because Sugar Ray Robinson fights just like Shane. They fight just the same. Now, I'm not going to discredit Sugar Ray Robinson because, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, skill for skill, talent for talent, Floyd Mayweather is a more technical boxer, just from my view, than Sugar Ray Robinson. Now, people get upset. Oh no, he's not. Sugar Ray Robinson had power in both hands. Yeah, and absolutely, he looked like he had power in both hands. He looked like he had power in both hands. Like he hit hard. He looked like he had a good ass chin. He looked like he was a tough motherfucker. He looked tough as shit. He had some heart. But if we're talking about skill, I don't think so. And that's just my opinion. And the thing is about that is, as a fighter, you're supposed to be. See, the sport evolves. It evolves. And Floyd Mayweather is supposed to be a more talented fighter than Sugar Ray Robinson. Just like Muhammad Ali, in my opinion, was a more talented fighter than Sugar Ray Leonard. I keep saying that. Sugar Ray Robinson. He was supposed to. Just like Sugar Ray Robinson was a more talented fighter than Joe Louis. You see where I'm going with this? See, Sugar Ray Robinson idolized Joe Louis. You know what I'm saying? And as Joe Louis, you're supposed to be proud when the student surpasses the master. You're supposed to always. Sugar Ray Robinson should be proud that Ali became transcended and made as much money as he's supposed to be. Ali should be proud that Sugar Ray Leonard became the fighter that he was, and he transcended the sport. Should be proud. Pernell Whitaker should be, you know what I'm saying? It's a building. Everybody should be proud. And as of right now, I know that you touched on it outside the ropes. Adrian Broner. Floyd Mayweather should want Adrian Broner to be better than him. He should want him to be 100-0. He should want him to develop better defense. He should want that because it's progressing of the sport. It shouldn't. I don't think Jordan, as great as he is, it offends him when people say, Kobe is better, because I would feel if I'm Jordan, he's supposed to be. He learned everything from me. He's supposed to be. Just like the kid that's watching Kobe. You're supposed to be better than him eventually because he's laying the building blocks. Every generation should be better. Somebody in 20 years, they're going to be comparing another kid to Kobe Bryant, and you're going to have, he ain't better than Kobe. Kobe scored 86 points in one single game. He ain't never did no shit like that. He ain't going to do no shit like that. You got the same argument. I just think that eras are eras for a reason. We cannot prove it. We cannot prove how good they can do. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's pointless. We don't know if Floyd would have fought more. More than likely, if he wanted to live the lifestyle that he did. This is my opinion. And this is why I ask people, if you look at Sugar Ray Robinson's record, it's like 200 wins or however many fights. I want people to write in the comments, out of all the fighters that he fought, Sugar Ray Robinson, how many do you think were elite and how many do you think were bum? Like, give me a percentage. Like 70 bums, 30 elite. And I'm not excluding him because every fighter has bums. I just told you about how promoters pad fighters' records. You build them up. So, what makes you think? This is my argument for fighters of today. Not just Floyd, but fighters of today. With Floyd's talent, what makes you think that, because you got to, if you were to take Floyd's talent, what he does now, as far as his defense and making people, I mean, just what he does now, what makes you think he wouldn't be exciting then? Pacquiao, as exciting as he is offensively, what makes you think that he wouldn't be a hit if you were to take him now, him, and drop him you know, what makes you think that he couldn't fight 70, 80, 90 guys? What makes you think he couldn't do that? He could. You see what I'm saying? It's just not fair. I honestly believe the best argument is both of them, they all could do the exact same thing. I believe if Sugar Ray Robinson was fighting now, he would be fighting the fights that yielded the most money. He would not have 100 or whatever fights. He probably would have about 40 or 50 right about now, if that. He'd be around, I would say maybe 50. Because he only fought for the money. It was like, okay, well, this fight here is 10, this fight, I can make $70,000 on this tour in Europe fighting. Okay, well, fuck it, that's what I got to do to get this bread. Versus if he could have just fought once and made $1 million, I doubt he would have fought. I doubt it. So that's just my opinion, but this is part 2. I'm more than likely going to do a part 3. Rate, comment, subscribe. We could talk it up. As long as everybody is positive and just give your opinion and just not be just respect everybody's opinion. My opinion is, I don't know. You know, I like to plead the fifth really on this conversation, but I feel compelled because some of the stuff I hear from Outside Ropes and D Styles and Blood, I agree with. But some of the shit I don't. Some of the comments, I've seen some crazy comments. My personal opinion, if y'all know me, there's a difference between footwork and foot speed. There's two different things. Pacquiao has good foot speed. He doesn't have good footwork because he trips over himself a lot. Sergio has good foot speed. He doesn't have necessarily good footwork because that's why he gets knocked down a lot. That's how he got knocked down to Kelly Pavlik, Chavez, and I forgot somebody else. Good footwork is, I think of it like a directional pad, like a mouse. I can move up, down, left, right, diagonal. You know, I can move either way. Floyd has good footwork, good foot movement. You know, he can fight any direction. Ward has good foot movement. Pernell Whitaker had good foot movement. It doesn't matter what direction I'm moving, left, right, up, down, you know, whatever. I'm going to fight the same. You're not going to see a weakness if I move to the left or move to the right. That's good footwork to me. But, you know, whatever.